Countries around Europe and the world have been commemorating the first anniversary of the Russian invasion of Ukraine and showing solidarity with Kyiv. On the first anniversary of the Russian invasion, countries around the world reaffirmed solidarity with Ukraine. In Berlin, a museum arranged to have a wrecked T-72 Russian tank installed outside Moscow's embassy as a metaphor for the futility of war. They borrowed the vehicle from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry Museum.
I want to show the people of Germany how brutal and disgraceful the war is, without showing some kind of shocking pictures or dead bodies, because that doesn't convey anything. People will just look the other way. But this tank, people think tanks are invincible, and seeing it blown up shows you it's not invincible, and war is never a good idea, so don't start it.
In Georgia, another of Russia's neighbours, the president reaffirmed unity with Ukraine, telling his people the war will decide the fate not just of them, but of all of Europe. In London, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak held a minute's silence outside his official residence in the presence of Kyiv's ambassador to London and a number of Ukrainian soldiers trained in the UK. And a minute's silence in Portugal too, in the Parliament building, that was illuminated in the now familiar blue and yellow colours of the Ukrainian flag. In a tweet, French President Emmanuel Macron made known his country's solidarity with Ukraine. People of Ukraine, France stands by your side. To solidarity, to victory, to peace, read the tweet.
The EU has agreed a new round of sanctions against Russia, a decision deliberately timed to coincide with the one-year anniversary of the war in Ukraine. It's the 10th package since President Vladimir Putin launched his invasion and introduces an export ban on industrial goods worth €11 billion. The list includes electronic components, jet engines and antennas which Moscow will struggle to replace. For the first time, the EU is also extending the sanctions to entities linked to Iran's Revolutionary Guard, targeting those involved in the production of drones that the Kremlin is using in Ukraine. The blacklist has finally been expanded to include individuals and entities that are responsible for illegal deportations of Ukrainian children. The European Commission says that the pressure on Russia will continue.
Russia is falling backwards towards an autarkic economy, cut away from the world. Our sanctions are eroding sharply its economic base, slashing any prospect to modernize it. We will continue to put pressure on Russia and on those supporting it on the battlefield.
But the negotiations to reach the agreement on the 10th package of sanctions were not simple. Some countries, including Poland, wanted more. They were asking for Russia's nuclear sector to be included, as well as a ban on synthetic rubber that is used in tyre production. The importation of Russian diamonds is also not on the list, something Belgium is opposed to. On the opposite side, Hungary was fighting to exclude several Russian names from the blacklist, but ultimately failed.
The spectre of Russia's invasion of Ukraine hung over ceremonies marking Estonia's Independence Day. The European Commission President and NATO Secretary-General were in Tallinn for the event, in a gesture of support for the former Soviet state. They both stressed the importance of supporting Ukraine.
We must keep giving Ukraine the means to defend itself until the Russians end this war and leave Ukraine. And this is why we stand firmly by Ukraine, as determined as ever, to support Ukraine financially, economically and militarily.
Some worry our support to Ukraine risks triggering escalation. But there are no risk-free options, and the biggest risk of all is if President Putin wins.
The EU and NATO leaders also joined the military commemorations in Tallinn. Estonia and its Baltic neighbours, Lithuania and Latvia, have been among Ukraine's strongest supporters since Russia's invasion.